Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar. So we do have some very hot conditions continuing today, but also we have seen some pretty severe thunderstorms in places across England and Wales. Again, they haven't been everywhere, but where they have occurred, they have been exceptionally heavy, very active with lightning strikes, and relatively slow moving, and through the rest of this evening they will slowly peter out and they'll continue to be a feature over the coming days. So we'll look at the latest from the live radar. We'll have a look at what the lightning radar is showing to see where the active storms are at the moment. We'll look at the latest UKV. As I said, still a lot of activity over the coming days, and it is likely to still remain fairly warm and hot at times. And then we'll have a look at the longer range, which has definitely trended quite a bit warmer throughout today compared to the last few days. Not necessarily heat wave conditions and nothing too persistent, but definitely showing hot air masses look like they could be a feature for much of the early part of August. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in the description. Now I'm recording this around 8:30 in the evening. You can see we have kind of two main areas of thunderstorms at the moment. We've got actually an isolated cell here just to the north of Bristol and northeast of Cardiff here, right on the border between Wales and England. But the main cells of storms are just to the south of London here through Surrey, moving into Kent, and then up here towards the Midlands. From the looks of some of the models, I do think the area to the south and east of London could last a bit later through this evening, and you can see it is an exceptionally active cell here towards Crawley, East Grinstead here, all the way down towards Haywards Heath, and again it is slowly moving eastwards. And there are a few other cells here towards Leicester area, very active these. And they are exceptionally heavy as well. You may look at this and be like, there's lots of green around with this as well. And this is kind of the offshoots, the overshoots of these storms, where we're seeing still lots of rain around. But really, the only active storms is where we've got the red colours here. So you can see it is very isolated. I said it's not everywhere. This is exactly what we said in yesterday's video. But where they do occur, they'll be very, very severe. We just see plenty of storms around the Oxford, Reading area, this sort of area towards Swindon, this sort of triangles where they initiated earlier. And then I said they've kind of split into two separate areas at the moment. Now, if you go over to the latest lightning radar from NetWeather, you can see the storm system towards the south coast is the most active area, and if you do put in the lightning strikes, you can see both areas are very, very active indeed. The reds and oranges are in the past 5 or 10 minutes or so, and you can see both storms have got reds and oranges, meaning they are both very active at the moment. You can generally see the positioning there moving, and that's where we've got those overshooting tops where we're seeing rain around the storm. So you see they're slowly edging eastwards. And we have seen rain quite widely in this area, but really only a few areas have seen the really active thunderstorms. We can see this by actually putting on the past 24-hour precipitation. And this gives us a very good indication where we have seen the thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms across much of northern France here. But you can see quite a lot of widespread rain here across England. And this is again from rain from the thunderstorms, but not actively getting hit by them. You can see where they have occurred today, as I said, that Oxford, Reading, Swindon sort of region. This is where they really initiated earlier and are now slowly moving eastwards. If we actually bring it up to date, you can see rain is now totting up towards the south of London. And as I said, quite a few areas here could be in the yellows, which is a good couple of inches of rain by the end of this evening. So again, pretty decent prediction we made yesterday, where we did say not everywhere is going to be hit by those storms, but they do occur, they will be pretty severe, and that is exactly what has happened. For those areas that have not seen the storms, it's actually been very hot today. Around the edge of the storm areas, we've still got a bit of cloud around. Temperatures have got up into the high 20s today, so have exceeded heatwave thresholds for a fourth consecutive day, and most likely will exceed them again tomorrow. Areas further north, it's still very warm. And if we go over to NetWeather again and have a look at the max temperatures, you can see widely 28 to 29 degrees. Could have nudged slightly higher if we didn't have those thunderstorms around, because I said even areas that are not directly impacted by the thunderstorms, not even impacted by some of the rain associated with the thunderstorms, but just some of the high level cloud that just held those temperatures down by a degree or two. But we'll likely see similar conditions tomorrow before eventually a cold front does sweep in. So to have a look at the latest UKV now, you can see those thunderstorms initiating through this afternoon, slowly petering out through this evening, and you see by the early hours of Friday, maybe a few isolated cells hanging on, but nothing too crazy. We'll look at the Cape in a minute, and you can see where activity could last through the evening. Into tomorrow, we could see a few cells breaking out in the Far East, but they look very pop-up and don't look particularly large or active. You can see that areas ahead of the weather front are pretty bright and sunny, and that means the temperatures will rise as we are still in the warm air mass, but to the northwest rain is moving in, and this is bringing fresher conditions as we head into the weekend. Now as we head into Saturday, that weather front kind of lingers towards the southeast, which may actually give quite a miserable feel, and with still some hot air around, some energy, could see a few thunderstorms breaking out along that trigger point, that cold front. And you see that there in the east and the south. Again, I'd wait another day or so to have a look at this in detail, just because it all depends on the speed and the timing of that cold front. Slightly delayed, then we could see less storms, but more scattered. If we do see it move through a little bit quicker, then we could just see more of an area of rain with not a lot of initialization because it happens earlier in the morning. As we head into Sunday, we do briefly in a cooler sector, but then another rain band and cloud moves in, and this is a warm front associated with quite a hot air mass moving back in for Sunday and for Monday. And you see the southeast quadrant is now in that very warm air. We'll look at the upper air temperatures in a minute. You can see the transition, and we're likely to see maybe 28 or 29 degrees once again on Monday for more thunderstorms spreading in from the west. So this is like a real pattern of heat and thunderstorms all mixing together over the coming days. So yes, it's likely to rain warm, if not very warm, if not hot in places, but it doesn't look like it's going to be widely anywhere near as dry as the prior days have been this week. It does look like there'll be a lot more activity around with those storms. If you look at the mixed level Cape, you can see high levels of Cape at the moment, and through the evening they really sustain themselves just to the south of London through towards midnight. So that's why I do think those storms to the south of London are more likely to hold on in their strength than the storms towards the Midlands. But eventually completely petering out, and you see into tomorrow some low-level Cape around in the east, so nothing too major expected there. As we head into the weekend, some moderate Cape around. You can see it does initiate through Saturday afternoon with that cold front, and that's why we could see again some more active storms there. And then into Sunday, nothing too much. And then into Monday, we ship in some more high-level Cape, and then again that is all due to that weather front moving in with the very hot air. And if you do look at those air masses, you can see hot air is still in at the moment. Cooler air is spreading through for Saturday. And then eventually, as we head into Sunday, we transition back into a hot air mass, so cool air mass in for about 12 hours or so. Hot air mass returns for Sunday into Monday, and then again a cooler air mass trying to shift it away as we head into Tuesday. So kind of oscillating between average and well above average upper air temperature, and that's why it's going to be hot at times, and it is going to be very thundery as there's a lot of energy around. If you look at the max temperatures, you can see this afternoon widely towards the high 20s. Didn't quite reach 30 degrees on the net weather charts, but it could have reached it in a isolated weather station, but most have said high 20s. As we head into Friday, temperatures are likely to be as high, 28, 29 degrees. Again, I wouldn't rule out a 30 degree, simply because it does look like it's going to be drier tomorrow across eastern areas. As we head into Saturday, temperatures still warm, 23, 24, but nowhere near as hot as that cold front is sweeping through with cloud, rain and storms. And then into Sunday, temperatures holding around the low 20s as we're all in that slightly fresher air mass. But we do see the warm air move back in for Monday, back towards the mid to high 20s, and then could get towards 30 degrees once again come Tuesday. So very up and down. Hot at the moment, hot tomorrow, slightly cooler through the weekend, and then turning hotter once again into the early part of next week. Now, if you do look at the latest GFS to give us an indication of what we're expecting through the early part of August, you can see the westerly winds returning, but you can see a little ridge of high pressure builds in, and that allows more of a southwesterly tilt into early next week, and that builds in that slice of very hot air, and that's why it could, as I said, get back towards the high 20s or 30 degrees for Tuesday. Now the GFS pushes this way quite quickly, slightly fresher for Wednesday, and then we could see warmer, hotter air masses returning into the following week, so very up and down, and you see, more heat wave conditions could be possible throughout the first half of August. So GFS very up and down with the upper air temperatures, showing lots of hot weather, but nothing to sustain. Very changeable. Hot one day, cooler, thundery the next. If you compare it to the latest GM, again, we'll put on the upper air temperatures. That's the best way to view this. Again, cool air sweeping that hot air away, hot air arriving and returning for a time early next week, but getting swept away by Tuesday here, so a little bit earlier, and then eventually towards day 10, again oscillating between hotter and cooler air masses. Not got as much of a southwest tilt to the isobars, which means it's not quite as hot with those warmer air masses, so it is slightly fresher. But still, very similar pattern, oscillating between cooler Atlantic air masses and hotter Mediterranean North African air masses. Finish by looking at the latest ECMWF. Again, it is broadly very similar. Hot air mass getting pushed away at the moment, slightly fresher through the weekend, hot air returning from Monday into Tuesday, fresher, and then again towards day 10, we see those hot air masses returning from the south. If we finish, just for the whole video, have a look at the ensembles. You can see very up and down with those upper air temperatures over the next 5 days. Very warm at the moment, turning slightly cooler through the weekend, really only back towards average, a spike above average early next week, and then back towards average. And then we've got a lot of scatter from the ensembles. We see plenty of very hot runs appearing, like the GFS operation run. You can see there with the thick green line, very up and down, almost a zonal sine wave, but a zonal sine wave where the low points are not 5 or 10 degrees below average. They are average, with the high points about 10 or 12 degrees above average. So a very hot zonal sine wave. It's not really normally associated with big Atlantic conditions, but occurring this time of year with the jet stream slightly further northwards, it means that those hot sectors are hot indeed. Precipitation doesn't look massive, but it looks moderate. Again, quite a convective look to these precipitation spikes, fairly spread out. Nothing too crazy, again, most likely associated with lots of convective showers and thunderstorms. And if we do compare it to the ECMWF ensemble to see what that has in store, very similar in terms of warm at the moment, slightly fresh into the weekend, hotter, and then generally oscillating throughout the first half of August. So if you have enjoyed these summery conditions we've seen over the past few days, doesn't look like they're going to go anywhere, just doesn't look like it's going to be as bone dry. We are likely to see a lot more showers around, temperatures up and down, changing day by day, but there will be plenty of warm, hot, dry weather around in the coming week or so. Just not every day and not day after day. There will be thunderstorms, there will be slightly fresher conditions mixed in there as well. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.